Okie dokie. Weekly outlook. I did it earlier live. I'm just gonna re-record it because I didn't record it earlier. And this will be a more condensed version because I did the levels. We plotted them out earlier, so it took a while. So this one will be a shorter version. But anyway, let's get started with ES. So, last week, right, sort of a double distribution week. We had 2 days down here and 3 days up here, right? And buyers aren't really in any kind of trouble unless this gap fills and we start trading below it. Um, there are a couple levels up here that are still really important in terms of, you know, um, I guess in deciding our immediate direction, right? So we can start from the daily again here. So, all right, double distribution here. I believe this volume profile goes all the way, yeah. So on ES, all right, pretty insane run as of late. And then just balancing for 3 days here. Right, so we have a 3 day balance here, which we could, just watch the highs and lows. We stay within this. We look for the mean reversion trade. Um, you can look at where volume starts to taper off here or here and sort of put on that mean reversion trade, right? When you see weakness at the extremes. Or, right, if we can hold this prior all-time high at 23, or also where that shelf is, we can get an early entry long, right, to maybe get in early prior to that breakout, right? Whether it looks above and fails or breaks out, who knows? But 23, really, really important. If we look at just last week's profile, you'll see that 23 is important there. But even on the larger time frame, right? That's the level we need to hold for now, 23. If not, this gap will most likely fill. We really don't have much value until we come down into the 5260s, right? You can see we had a balance up here, right, prior to it sort of giving. But same situation here. We fail to stay above 61, it becomes an issue. So under 23, that's where I expect us to go test. Failure to hold this, we can maybe give it down to 52.44, sort of this point of control down here. But if we're just looking at the extremes here, it's going to be 61 and a little tough as you approach the lower end. Maybe that low volume node here at like 5170s, right? And then of course this high volume node, I guess, a point of control of all this stuff recently. So those are the most important levels in terms of the higher time frame, 53.23 and then 52.60. Can bring it down to the lower time frame here and just look at what happened the last 3 sessions of last week. All right, so we can go to 53.23, sort of ends up being your point of control, close to, after what we did Friday. Friday looked pretty bearish on both ES and NQ. ES was a little stronger, NQ was the weaker one with chips coming down. But, spent most of the session under 23. Held 53.14s, 16s pretty well for the most part. Ended up essentially filling in the poor structure here, right? And this set of singles here, this set of singles here, set of singles there. So basically came and filled that up. Although it is still lacking a little bit, right? Even with these 2 legs of excess down, ended up filling that up. But you got a poor high up here. Which could end up making the profile look something like that. But I think as long as we hold 23, we're gonna go end up getting that excess. And targets we can talk about, but this sort of ends up becoming the upper distribution here from like 33. really not much, nothing concrete up here that I like love. You know, this is sort of where I just expect some kind of slowdown rejection. If we can get over, yeah, this 41, 42 mark, I think it's clear skies. Um, yeah, I mean, nothing to do up here really. I'd like to see tests of 20, 5320 hold. So I will be looking to long on a pullback there. All right, but we're in a 3-day balance, right? Balance high, balance low. So similar to how you would play an inside week, you kind of just want to get in on strength through that. If it's weak, it ends up failing. That's where you put on the short, right? You don't have to be early. You don't have to look to be short. You don't have to catch the top, right? Never a good idea. Just wait for this to, if it does fail, wait for it to get under and stay under to put on the short. And same thing with the long. Although the 16 level down here is like really important, maybe we can just leave some orders down there. If we, let's say you take out balance low and fill the gap, you still want this thing to back over this balance low, right? What makes it hard is NQES, you got value. Let me move this down a bit. So ES, you have value here, most of it down here. So, right, we have these balances here, but we're looking at the composite volume profile. Being under 23 should take us down to 61. So I'm not going to be looking to bid these. If we do get a bid, I will, but it's not something I'd leave an order at. 61's more so that level, right? Maybe clear up some of that poor structure and then long off of the shelf here, the upper end of this pocket of value. Yeah, so under, I'd stay flat till 61 unless this reclaims, and then we can get an entry here or wherever it may be. Targets, I'm just going to shoot for some extensions of this balance here. Right, 5380 and 5411. I think that's about all I got. 54, that's a wild target, but that's for later. We can go to NQ. NQ daily, similar to ES, you have a 3-day balance there. Their prior all-time highs up here, right? In terms of the volume profile, their yearly point of control is here at 305. And it's a little spotty up here, right? Only big, huge level here is like this area value 360 down to arguably like 18130. So that's the real important one here. You know, being under 600 can potentially warrant a trade back down to 360. Right? 600, you just got a couple reference points up here. These highs. Got a little bit of a low volume node there, shelf there. So that's what I'm gonna be paying attention to. Early in the week. We're actually swing long, or I'm actually swing long from Friday because we ended up closing above. Let me turn this off. Yeah, let me turn this off. Okay. So right now, kind of just slamming up into. So let's just keep this 600 in mind. We ended up closing above. That's sort of why I put the swings on. NQ also kind of cleaned up that poor structure. Right, left from this one trend day up. Kind of cleared up those singles on this move lower. Ended up bouncing out 550. There was a bit of a shelf there. I couldn't put on the long there. I kind of just waited till we got back over 600. But that's gonna be the idea for the beginning of the week. Right, hold on to 600. That's where I'm gonna be looking for bids. I'm not gonna be really looking for offers up here. Profile wise, it's hard to say it's a 3-day balance, right? I mean, most of the value was up here, this session up here, shifted lower a little bit. So it essentially ended up building out this profile a little bit more down here. Yeah, so if this trades down into 600, I'm gonna be looked along this. Otherwise, yeah, at that point you'd be accepting back into this area of value, and hard for me to put on longs with any kind of size down here, right? Until we get down to maybe close the gap here. There's nothing really significant here. 360 is sort of where that comes in, right? So 600 is going to be the first line in the sand. Pretty simple. Just a couple levels here just to sort of gauge strength, but over 600, I like this for much, much higher. Right, and NQ targets. Let's see. These 840 and 130s come from balance extensions back here. This 920 and 19072 come from extensions from here. So just keep that in mind. Those are going to be the targets I'm looking for, right? If I'm long 600s or anywhere near here, I'm going to be looking for those targets. You know, if I'm wrong and it ends up just sort of balancing here, just sitting here until NVIDIA earnings, I guess it's fine. You know, keep moving the stop up if I have to, but right now it's down at 93. I can probably move it up soon, but we'll see what happens. So some pretty simple lines in the sand. 600 and then 23. Okay. We'll just kind of color these differently. Okay, so pretty simple. I'm not gonna be looking at much else. So we will see what happens. If we aren't able to get retests of these levels, the lines in the sand, I'll just wait for on ES, I'll wait for the break of the high. NQ, I'm already long 2. This is sort of the first place I expected rejection, around 660, 670. Yeah, I was about to say we get over 680 and I kind of just want to add to this position, but you still have this kind of main point of control up there, right there in that session. So maybe we add over 710s. That was your prior all-time high. I got a high there and a little bit of a double distribution if you want to call it that. So over 710, I'll be adding on NQ. That's if we don't get retests of these lines in the sands. Okay. So pretty simple. You know, I'm a bull, so other than that, I really don't want to be long anywhere else, right? Except for much, much lower. Well, I don't say much lower, but 300, 400 points lower. And then what is that on ES about? $70 lower. So we'll keep it simple today or this week. Nvidia earnings, so might be slow to start the week. In terms of equities, I'm not really positioned in too much. There's nothing I love. I know the ones we're already up on, we've taken profit on. There was one name I liked this week, Shopify, which could make for pretty good, decent trade, right? I mean, you're at a pretty important trend line here. My plan was to just buy at the open on Monday and just be long up against these lows. Right. Maybe add more on a daily close above this anchored VWAP off of the earnings day. If it does take me out after we open Monday, well, I'll put on the long Monday at open. Maybe you could say these are some poor lows, but let's say it does take me out. I'll relong it if we can get back over these two lows, right? But I'm just gonna put on the long Monday at open and put a stop at these lows. If it goes, she goes, and I'll add on a daily close above this VWAP. Right, I'm probably throwing some options. So that's about all I got planned. So that's it. That wraps it up. Let's be patient. Let's have a killer week, and just go make some money this week.